This never happened to the other fella.
I personally don't think the perfect James Bond has ever appeared on the screen, but that's purely my opinion.
Your Bond, when you were Bond, there was perhaps a slightly more human element.
Well, it had to be, because he fell in love, where Bond looked, you know, like he had too much armor plating on to fall in love prior to Diana Rigg coming along, or the Contessa. I think to be able to transform from James Bond into a guy who's emotionally involved with a woman, you had to have a softer side to you.
Are you sure, Jane? I love you. I know I'll never find another girl like you. Will you marry me?
Why didn't you do any more? What actually happened?
I had this mentor, I won't mention his name, but he talked me out of doing another Bond picture, saying, you're famous now, you can go on as an actor. And of course I wasn't an actor after doing one James Bond picture, so I was in no man's land.
But looking back, I mean, even you turn the story now, it sounds insane.
It was insane. I mean, I wasn't very bright. And I'm meeting all these people who are the heaviest hitters in the world, who are opening their doors to me. Well, my mind went into neutral, and I thought, this is it, I don't have to do any more. I stood in front of the mirror and said, George, you've made it, you'll never be broke again. Little did I know, it wasn't long afterwards.
Fancy meeting you here, Fräulein.
There was a quote from you, and I hope this was from you, it's certainly attributed to you, that you...
If it's good, it's mine.
It's very good, so I'm sure it is. Was that when you played the Saint, you had 2 expressions, and that when you went to play Bond, you used the full range of 4 that you developed. Did you ever say that?
I think it was only 3, actually.
The period of films that you made obviously were known as much for their humour as they were for the action and the locations.
Well, I think that was the one difference I tried to make for myself with Sean. Sean, who's very tough, and I'm not very good at that. And also my attitude to that type of hero is that they don't exist, they're not real, and so I played it, you know, tongue-in-cheek.
All those feathers and he still can't fly.
All these action pictures have a great deal to thank the Bond films for, and also a lot of the stuff that they used in films. Now I see that kind of one-line humor that we really initiated in there is all over.
Shocking.
I don't think there's any modern adventure thriller that hasn't been influenced by the Bond. You know, the Bond movie broke completely new ground, and for years has been in the forefront of adventure thrillers. Everyone's been influenced by them.
Crushing paw. Does that come with a fork?
In my quest to find the real Bond, simple mathematics leads me to the man closest to 007, which by my reckoning is 006.
Sean, congratulations, you get to play Agent 006, almost James Bond, as close as you can be to playing James Bond without being James Bond. Must have been a lot of fun. Was it ever an ambition of yours to actually be Bond himself?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's obviously something that I'm sure a lot of people, you know, would love to play, you know. Pierce played him, had a great time playing him. He's made a great Bond, I think. And I suppose that's the closest I'll get playing 006.
After you, 006.
James? For England.
For England, Alex.
It must be, I suppose it's quite strange when you take on a job like that, knowing the history that goes with it and knowing how kind of devoted the fans are. Is that harder for you to accept a job like that, knowing that you've got those expectations to live up to?
You do gradually realise over the period of time when you're filming how many people actually you've got to live up to, you know, to people's expectations. You know, the baddies in Bond, you know, they've been such good baddies, and you want to try and match that, you know.
Look after Mr. Bond. See that some harm comes to him.
Guests I'm expecting. No, he won't be leaving.
Bonjour, Monsieur Bond. I am Knick-Knack. Dom Pérignon 64.
I prefer the 62 myself. Still, beats a bag of peanuts.
Monsieur Scaramanga will welcome you personally.
Let me pour you some of this, Christopher.
Thank you.
Nice to see you haven't lost your touch.
No, it was not, of course, my favorite gun with which I shot the cork out of the neck of the bottle. It was an ordinary gun, if you remember from that scene.
What was it that attracted you to the part in the first place?
Ian Fleming was my cousin. I, of course, had read the books, and like everybody else, immensely entertained by them all, but it meant more to me, I suppose, than almost anybody else because of the family relationship. I think that Scaramanga, unlike most of the other Bond villains, is very much Bond's dark side. I think they have quite a lot in common, certainly as far as women are concerned, certainly as far as good food, good drink, the good life is concerned, and the slight mystery about both these characters are both enigmas. Nobody's ever solved the mystery of James Bond.
What happened?
Mr. Fatt has just resigned. I'm the new chairman of the board.
You said that Scaramanga was kind of the flip side of Bond, which I can see.
The dark side,
The
yes.
dark side. Do you think there's a case to be made that Bond himself couldn't exist without the villains? That you would need those powerful, those evil men for someone as kind of ruthless and...
Yes, of course, because without them he has nothing to conquer.
Compliments of Sharkey.
The villains played by Robbie Coltrane and yourself in the movie are less like the old villains of